Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
On this episode of the History of the Course podcast with Curtis and Josh, we finish our look at the band known as Comeback Kid. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show, leave us a 5-star review, and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. Make sure to check us out on TikTok and give us a follow at IsSurvivedByProductions. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, you already know. Let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Did you know? Oh, God.
A light on the dark side of me. But did you know that when it snows? God damn. Dude, why is Seal so awesome? That song is amazing. In a totally awful and like ironic kind of way, but still awesome.
Oh, man. Welcome back to the History of the Chorus podcast. For each and every episode, we take a look at the history of a band from the chorus genre. By the way, I'm keeping that in. That is the intro, by the way.
Which
Josh's
part?
love for Seal. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll get some of the singing, too. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm Curtis. With me, as always, is my co-host and huge fan and supporter of the band Seal from the 90s, Josh. What's up, man?
I'm just loving Seal over here.
Have you been kissed by a rose?
I have been kissed by a rose. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, da-da-da.
Alrighty then. Well, we're gonna continue our look at the good old band Comeback Kid. But Josh, we had a brand new episode of the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast come out this past week.
Oh, the Throne of the Dragon podcast? That's right.
I know,
we did.
well,
we did have a brand new episode that come out.
That too. You got a review of that one?
No, I'm not going to review our own show.
I'll tell you what.
Bad enough that I review your other show.
You keep reviewing the After Hours. I'll get Eric to review Throne of the Dragon. How about that?
Okay.
I don't think he has any interest in that stuff at all. I don't know. He never talks about it, so I don't know. Anyway, we had a brand new episode, History of the Chorus After Hours podcast this past week. It was all about one of Josh's favorite bands, if not maybe his favorite band of all time, Every Time I Die.
I know he's my favorite band of all time.
He is busting at the seams with some comments. I can just tell. Look at that smile on his face.
Nothing too crazy. I just have a few things to like interject with this week, and
yeah, take it away, man.
Not so much as a correction corner, just
correction corner.
You guys are talking about if Every Time I Die I've been in any video games. I don't know of any video games right off the top of my head that it's in, but I do know that Werewolf was on the Saw 1 soundtrack.
Is it still weird, though, that they performed that live on Jimmy Kimmel?
Werewolf?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of bands like perform some of their more explicit songs live.
Yeah. I just think in general, though, performing on Jimmy Kimmel, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know they've had some different bands kind of along that lines on there too, but it's just kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
They won't be kept down. I believe the lyric you were looking for was Big Brother will keep you in line with snipers on the roof.
There you
That's
go.
the one
yeah.
you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys were talking about notable lyrics, we left out some great ones. We're sucking blood from the necks of guitars. You were alone here, or you were alone when you came here. You'll be alone when you leave again. Either you or I or both must go. Blaspheme when you're under my roof. Don't ever say rock and roll. 4 riders in a town with 1 horse. And I could go on all day, but
Did I say the
those are
one
just-
though? Did I say? Oh shoot! I can never remember what's. It's on From Parts Unknown.
from parts unknown to streets paved in gold.
No, let's see. Oh my gosh! Seriously, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue. It's from. Hold on a second.
Do 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 do.
I know it is. Right before your very eyes, I fell off my horse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you did mention that one.
Okay, I couldn't remember if I did or not. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
You Eric mentioned Dance Gavin Dance lyric, something about avocados, I think.
I guess it's been several weeks since we did that one.
I don't remember the actual lyric. I hadn't heard that one before, but a couple notable ones that I remember from Dance Gavin Dance were "Turn Out the Lights, I'm watching Back to the Future." And also, "I'm a sucker, so maybe I should fuck her now."
Nice.
I heard you not you necessarily. I heard Eric saying that his general consensus is what they have a few good songs. A few good songs. You sure about
Just a
that?
few. Just a
You
few.
sure about that? You sure about that?
Oh, man.
It's a little I think you should leave reference.
Oh, man.
And of course, Curtis, everyone knows that my favorite Every Time I Die album is The Big Dirty.
Thought it was low teens.
No, that is way too late in the game for me. Those are great albums, but they're not going to be my favorite. The prime run for me is Big Dirty,
New Junk.
Gutter
Or
Phenomenon,
Gutter. Yeah.
and New Junk. Like that
Or-
is like prime
Well, isn't it?
for me.
If you're going in order though, isn't it Gutter, Big Dirty, New Junk? Because I think Big Dirty's
Dirty was
between.
2005.
Yeah, but that's what. Yeah, so that's between
Or was
Gutter
New Junk
and
2004?
No, Gutter was 2004. Big Dirty was 5. New Junk is 6 or 7.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? Yes. Yep.
You sure
No,
about
it's funny
that's how
because
come?
it's funny because he was telling me tonight. He was like, what did he say? I don't remember exactly what he said, but he had a feeling it was coming. There was
Oh.
retaliation coming. He knew he said some things
Retaliation.
wrong.
I do
He knew
love
he
low
poked the bear.
teens, but it's too late. It's too late for me.
Okay. I really thought it was low teens.
No.
Okay.
You can
Big
reference back
Dirty.
to the episode, and I bet I said either Big Dirty or Gutter.
Okay. I'm sure you did. Yeah. Was there any other comments?
That's it.
That was it?
I'm sure there were other things I could comment on.
I
but
mean,
we could go on all fucking day.
I've got a comment for you. Could have
Comment
been
me.
probably could have been a
Oh,
lot better.
wait. Yeah, let's go back to that, shall we? Go ahead.
Probably could have been a lot better episode if somebody would have helped me out like I asked them to, and never got a response from them.
Let's see.
So,
Let's see.
I tried to get the expert on Every Time I Die to hit me up with some questions, some good discussion questions. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Never got a response. So I went into it and I winged it. Yeah.
Trying to go back and find
You looking for
where
that text?
you
No.
asked me
No.
that.
No way. Or are you trying to tell me now that it didn't happen?
No. I remember the text.
So what are you trying to tell me now, that you sent one and I just never got it?
No. Okay. This is on April the 1st.
What'd you think it was? An April Fool's joke?
This was a month ago. And you said that next Sunday you were doing one about every time I die, and you haven't come up with a whole lot of questions. Is there something specific that I would like to ask? This was not you asking for my help getting this like all together. You specifically say, and I quote, "Is there something specific that you, Josh, would like to ask?"
I could have worded it better probably, but
then I
that was
forgot
me
about it.
saying that
But
was me throwing up the flags. Help me.
But you framed it up like you were just begging for my help, and I was just like, no, fuck you.
No, your response was, "I'll
But it
think
was
about
like
that."
one text where it was like, hey, is there anything you want to add to this? And then somehow I completely derailed the whole thing.
Yeah. I asked the question. You say, "I'll think about that." Then you go, "Can I have the list for tomorrow?" And I give you the list. Then you send me some, I think you should leave stuff. And then you send me some more memes later in the week, and then I never get anything.
And then here we are.
So, I mean,
Here we
what
are.
the hell? Very productive week. Okay, anyway.
We'll just split it 50-50. How about?
50-50.
Little you,
Oh my
little
goodness. Alrighty. So that was it, right? You didn't have any more?
me. That's it. No.
Good. Did you enjoy the episode?
Yeah.
I guess.
I
Sure.
always enjoy the episodes.
Because you know that you get to have a rebuttal. You have a platform so makes you happy, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can say the things that I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh. Alrighty, let's dive on in here.
Dive on in.
Back on into our Canadian invasion. Again, looking at the band Comeback Kid. Okay, so lineup that we left off with was Andrew Newfield on vocals, Jeremy Hebert on guitar, Casey Jelmberg on guitar, Matt Keel on bass, and Kyle Profeta on drums. Okay, so when we left off, the band had kind of gone on a short little hiatus after releasing Broadcasting. Being on the road through 3 full-length albums. We talked about the last vocalist, Scott Wade, leaving because of road weariness. So I'm sure going on this hiatus for the band right after their new release was kind of a part of that too. So after the short hiatus was finished, the band headed back out on the road again. And in 2008, the band would release a live album entitled Through the Noise. And that name actually comes from lyrics from the song Industry Standards off of the album Broadcasting. This album was a CD DVD set, which included a live performance in, I think I'm saying this right, Leipzig, Germany.
Sure,
why not? Hey, all of our Germany friends. Guten Tag. Let's see. So, live performance in Germany was the CD, and then the DVD part is a documentary on the first 6 years of the band. The band would follow this release with a headlining tour through Canada called Through the Noise Tour, featuring the bands Bane, Misery Signals, and I think I'm saying this band's name. I've never even heard of. Yeah, I've never even. Yeah, God. I was born in the darkness. It doesn't matter who we are. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm saying this band's name right. I've never heard of them, but Shai Hulud. You ever heard of them?
I don't think so. Shai Hulud?
Yeah, I mean, I could be saying it wrong. Gravemaker and the band Outbreak. Which takes us right into the next album, 2010s.
Ooh, Misery Signals. You didn't even mention Misery Signals, did you?
Yeah, I did. That was the second band. You
Oh,
were too
okay.
focused on Bane.
Okay, yeah. Well, you bring up Bane.
Bane, Misery Signals, Shahilud, Gravemaker, and Outbreak.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, 2010's Symptoms and Cures from Victory Records and Distort Records in Canada. Victory. Produced by Eric Ratz and Kenny Luong. If you recognize those names, we talked about them on the Cancer Bats episode. They have done several of Cancer Bats records. And also the band members from Comeback Kid also worked on the album as well. This is the only album to feature guitarist Casey Jellenberg. When talking about the band's second album with Newfield on vocals, drummer Kyle Profeta had this to say, quote, we have really found our sound with him and we are really excited about it. Revolver magazine described the album saying, quote, the group nailed a heavier, more natural sound on Symptoms, one that's immortalized by the ferocious opener, Do Yourself a Favor, which recalls American Nightmare and H2O in equal measure. The record's energy is infectious, and with a guest list that includes vocalists from Architects, Cancer Bats, and a Wilhelm Scream, there's plenty to latch onto. Yeah.
The Wilhelm Scream.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I've heard that band before, but at least the name. But songs on this album include the opener, Do Yourself a Favor, Crooked Floors, GM Vincent and I, which is actually written about a vehicle crash involving the band Gravemaker and Andrew Newfield during the Through the Noise tour. Kind of interesting there.
Oh God, dude. Nobody has had it worse though in those kind of accidents than fucking the Ghost Inside.
When you started saying that, I was thinking there's a band out there. I know there is, but okay. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of bands have had like
one.
rolled tour buses and stuff like that, but like, yeah, I think the drummer like lost most of one of his legs. Yeah.
Dang. Moving on, because of all, the concept stays featuring Nuno Piria, I don't know, of a Wilhelm Scream. There's also Balance featuring Liam Cormier of Cancer Bats. Symptoms and Cures, Manifest, Get Alone, Magnet Pull, and the finale, Pull Back the Reins, featuring Sam Carter of Architects. 2010's Symptoms and Cures from One Victory Records and Distort Records. You're on the clock, Josh. Go.
First two tracks, I was concerned.
He was concerned. Don't you hate that about an album? Like when you're anticipating like a new album or whatever, and then you put it on, and you're like, oh God, is this gonna get better?
Those first two just did not hit real well for me. But then by GM Vincent and I, like it really kicks up a notch. And from there through the end of the album, like it's not exactly the same as old Comeback Kid, but it slaps. Like it's really good.
Hey Josh, what did the Five Fingers say to the face?
Slap.
Yeah. No, you're right. Of course, none of these are going to compare to like old Comeback Kid. I mean, you said on the last episode, it's like your personal favorites were the first two albums, Turn It Around and Wake the Dead. Excuse me. And that's how I feel too. I feel like those first three albums are their best ones. Turn It Around, Wake the Dead, and Broadcasting. I still feel like besides, I think the only one that I would say that I don't really want to turn it on and just like listen to all the way is I think it's Outsider. I don't know. It's just an album that I don't know. I got to the point where I was just kind of like, okay, I think I've heard enough. Not that I hated it. It was just like, yeah. think by that time I was just kind of burnt out on it. But yeah, I think this is another one to me. Symptoms and Cures again, like I said in the last. Go ahead.
I didn't realize I was muted. I was like, damn, he's really just like plowing through like this thought. I was gonna say, yeah,
wait, we're on what album now? What happened?
the rest of the discography is like it all stays good. Like it's all good, but they kind of turn into Stray from the Path, like at a certain point. Because the vocals sound exactly like that, the music starts to sound a lot like that, and it just kind of at a certain point I was like, is it Stray from the Path? Like, did we switch over?
What happened?
Yeah.
Do you think this is almost like with the way their discography goes? Do you think this is almost kind of like what happened with Vanna? Just not as like as bad of a degree that Vanna in their discography took.
Yeah, there's definitely similarities. I mean, Vanna went all in on
they went way too far, man.
It's like sad boy,
teen angst, yeah.
Yeah. The sad boy category, Sworn In and New Vanna. Yeah, I don't know. Because I didn't find myself at any point, like even on the last album, the one that's behind you, Heavy Hits, Heavy Steps. Okay. Yeah, even that one, I never found myself being like, okay, this sucks. Like at a certain point.
No, I never felt like, none of these albums I felt like, that's what I'm saying is like not to a degree of what Vanna went through, because God, there was not that last album, but the one right before that, I think it's called Void. I think God. I got like I think I got halfway through it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care. But yeah, I'm just saying like it just feels like it's kind of in the same kind of vicinity, but not to the degree that Vanna took it to. I mean, again, it's like if you go back and listen to that episode, we talked about how the discography changes. It's like it's a totally different band at a certain point. It's like, why don't you just change your name, man? Especially like you didn't have as many. I think they only had like two original members by the end of it too, maybe just one. I don't remember, but yeah, I don't think that any of these albums that we're talking about on this episode suck. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It gets to the point on, I'm pretty sure it was Outsider. That it's just kind of like, okay. Like, I think that was the only one that I didn't listen to twice. I usually try to listen to every album twice through when we're doing these episodes, just to kind of get a really good grasp on it. Even if I haven't, or even if I know it, just kind of get a good little refresher. But yeah, I think that was one that was just kind of like, one time is good enough for me. And I think I was really kind of hoping for more off of Outsider, because I really like the album artwork. It was pretty attractive, but
yeah, it's
anyway,
pretty
good. Back to Symptoms and Cures here, because we're getting way too far ahead. Yeah, this is the one for me again, like I talked about in the last episode with the other three full-length albums, that put it on and just let it go, man. You're right. I mean, those first two they're kind of like, oh God, is this going to be bad? What's about to happen? And then you get to GM Vincent and I, and it starts turning up. You're like, okay, I think we saved the day here, man, with GM Vincent and I.
Yeah.
So
no, it's it's solid, the rest of the album. And they do that thing where did you notice that their albums like start like they get up to a point where one of them's like 40 minutes long, and then they like slowly shrink back down like to closer to like 30.
So I think it's Outsider that's like 40 minutes long, and then you get to their newest one, Heavy Steps, which is the one right after Outsider, and it's like back to 32 minutes long.
Yeah.
So
love it.
Pretty crazy.
And they always end on a high note. Like their last tracks are
they're
usually pretty good. So
yep.
So it checks all those boxes for me. The only thing I'll say is like, from like even from Die Knowing, like it starts to take that turn. There's like, if you like this album, okay, well, awesome. You'll probably also like Stray from the Path. and that's fine.
Wait, was I not listening to Stray from the Path? What's happening?
Which is fine. Like I like Stray from the Path, but I also like old Comeback Kid, and that's kind of like why I came to listen to Comeback Kid and not Stray from the Path. So
Right. Alrighty, that's 2010's Symptoms and Cures from Victory Records and Distort Records in Canada. Backed by popular demand, the band would go out once again on the road with the Through the Noise Tour, Part 2. This time they'd be going through North America and Europe. In early 2012, guitarist Casey Gyllenberg, after only one album, would leave the band and be replaced by Stu Ross, who was from the band Living with Lions and Misery Signals. Yeah. Okay. I thought he had a comment, but maybe not.
nope, just like Misery Signals.
Did you hear it that time? I said Misery Signals. All right.
Woo!
Woo! Okay. Onward now to 2014. Die Knowing from Victory Records and Distort Records in Canada. Produced by Kyle Black, who has done work with bands such as, listen to this list here. This is like pop punk. Set Your Goals, Chunk No Captain Chunk.
Oh, love Chunk No Captain Chunk.
All Time Low and Hit the Lights.
I forgot about those guys.
Yeah. Yep. And the members of Comeback Kid worked on producing as well. Yeah, that's a name that's like I haven't heard in a long time. And it came up and I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, back in the day a little bit.
So
but yeah.
Good. Set Your Goals is good. Set Your Goals is good.
Yeah, Set Your Goals is good.
If you're listening to this, Eric, and you like Set Your Goals, you need to...
Oh, that's right up his alley, bro.
You need to hit Chunk No Captain Chunk, and then you also need to hit Wonder Years.
Yes, so. Wonder Years. That's a good one. Okay, so this is the first album with new guitarist Stu Harris, and it's going to be the final album for Kyle Perfetta on drums and Matt Keel on bass. Stephanie, yeah, I know, right? Stephanie Markham of DailyEasternNews.com. Check out this newspaper motto.
Here's an idea. Start a band with some guys that you can stand to be around for a little while.
Okay.
Like, don't just, you play bass? Awesome. Come be in our touring band. Come sign business deals with us. It might as well be a fucking divorce, like getting rid of some of these guys.
The whole legal proceedings and everything.
You might as well call in studio musicians to record an album and just get some guys to tour with you. Like, anyway, continue. Rant over.
Dang, we poked the bear. Good Lord.
It's just aggravating. I hate the constant lineup changes. They've had like a different bassist for every fucking album.
Well, get ready because it's not even done yet.
It's just aggravating. At that point, I don't understand. Like, what is happening?
Okay. Anyway, Stephanie Markham of DailyEasternNews.com, and
I'm not mad.
Going to say, oh my god,
I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed in you.
You good? Can I move on?
Yeah, go.
Okay, check out this newspaper motto from the Daily Eastern News.
Newspaper
Tell
motto?
Tell the truth, and don't be afraid.
That's the motto of the newspaper?
That's the motto of the newspaper.
All right, I like it.
Alrighty. So Stephanie Markham reviewed the album and described it saying, quote, with fast-paced, mind-frenzying tempos and punchy rhythms, Comeback Kid's recent release of Die Knowing is like a beefed-up, Offspring reminiscent batch of mosh-friendly inspiration. Good Lord. The Canadian hardcore punk group is more stripped down, raw, and heavy on this album than ever before. All songs are short, some under the 2-minute mark, and to the point while still making a sizable dent in your ears with their motivating lyrics, snarling vocals, and faithfulness to punk song structure. The moment the reason why I kind of like took a breath there was like it just seemed like there was so much going on there. I think we talked about, I don't remember if it was in the last episode, but one of the quotes I had said, it was just like, okay, how else are you going to describe this? Because like you just sound like you're just rambling on at this point, you know?
Right. What else is there to say?
Yeah, exactly. Songs on this album include Die Knowing, Lower the Line, Wasted Arrows, Losing Sleep, featuring Polly Carrera of Devil in Me. I hope I said her name right. Should Know Better, I Depend, I Control, Somewhere in This Miserable, Beyond, Unconditional, Didn't Even Mind. I didn't even mind, you know, it's whatever. Full Swing featuring Scott Wade, who used to be the vocalist for Comeback Kid. And then the finale, Sink In. What up, Josh? What's up? What's
Hello.
going on? You doing all right, man? Doing all right?
Yeah.
Doing good? Okay, good.
All right.
What do you think about Die Knowing 2014?
I like Die Knowing. Um,
All right, moving on. Here we go.
No, um, I I don't know. It's like I said, this is where it kind of starts to take that turn where I'm like, I just feel like I'm listening to a Stray from the
Straight
Path
from the
album.
path.
If the bass was like a little heavier, it would definitely feel like a Stray from the Path album.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good like group vocals in this one still too. Like the article was saying, the songs are all super fast paced, they're all super short. I'll always refer you to my daughter's argument. Like I love nothing more than a song that gets in, says what it has to say, and gets the hell out. So
Now get the hell out. Yeah, I don't you're in the middle of a comment, but I don't even remember, dude. I mean, you're basically talking about like, you know, the vroom. It just kind of like the turning of the sound, I guess, turning towards, like you said, kind of the straight from the path sound. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have no
What's
idea.
okay, so do you have any favorite songs on this album?
Um,
Is there any song that really stands out to
no, I don't
yours,
really
or is it
feel like
just a
any of them like really stand out for me, honestly. They're
what do you
all
what
just kind of like, what's up?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
They're all just kind of like along the same lines to me.
Okay. What'd you think of the song Full Swing? Scott Wade coming back. You know, from back in the day. Did it bring you back some nostalgia, or was it disappointing to you?
I mean, it's not disappointing. There's like some cool, like kind of group vocals in it that are they're good. It's got good pacing. Um, Scott Wade's my preferred comeback kid vocalist, so you know.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's why I was asking because I knew he was your favorite one of the two.
Yeah, I mean
Well,
it's
alrighty.
like hearing you know, like Scoggins play with Norma Jean. Like yeah, like it's good.
It's good.
I mean, it's not his
It's
band
good.
anymore, you know, so it's not like he's coming back.
Oh
Um,
my God, he's coming back.
but I will say Arsonist Get All the Girls has a track too on Listen to the Color. That was the one that they did themselves.
Themselves. That's what I was wondering. Okay.
And it has their original vocalist like do guest vocals on one of the tracks. And that one like gives me goosebumps.
Oh.
Yeah, that one I'm always like, oh, like that's a good one.
I am satisfied now.
Because it comes in like he's not in it until I guess really like the breakdown kind of starts, and then it's like all him, and just like, oh shit, like yeah,
Oh God.
yeah.
Gone back in time. I have found a time machine. All right, that's 2014's Die Knowing. Moving on. Kyle Perfetta on drums. Wanted to folk. Yeah, okay, here's the thing about it. You say that you get these guys, and it's just like it just doesn't work out, so you get divorced or whatever. Kyle, on the other hand, here he decided to leave because he wanted to focus on his culinary work in South Africa. Okay,
Random as hell.
yeah, so random. That's probably like the most random one we've gotten out of all of our lineup changes in the 23. This is the 23rd episode of our podcast. So yeah, that one takes the cake so far. He would be replaced by Jesse Lebovitz. But just a year after joining the band, Jesse Lebovitz would be replaced by Lauren Laguerre. Matt Keel would be replaced.
Jeremy Lebovitz played with them. He toured with them for a year. Jeremy was
Jesse Lebovitz.
Jesse, whoever.
What does it matter? He's not in the band anymore.
Considered a band member. He should be considered like a touring member for one.
I was gonna say at that
season.
point, wouldn't you? Yeah, at that point, it's like, aren't you just basically considered a touring guy?
Yeah.
But yeah. Matt Keel would be replaced by Ron Friesen on bass. The release of their previous album, Die Knowing, marked the end of the band's long-standing relationship with One Victory Records. Wah, wah, wah. But the band would sign with Nuclear Blast Records to put out their to put out their records outside of Canada. Every time I see that, I just think of like a voice like that. Nuclear Blast. Which takes us to their next album, their first released off of Nuclear Blast Records. 2017's Outsider was also released through New Damage Records in Canada. Produced by Jordan Voth. I know we have talked about him before in previous episodes, but I cannot remember which bands are off the top of my head. This is the first album for both Lauren Laguerre on drums and Ron Friesen on bass. Alex Sievers of KillYourStereo.com, do it, Kill Your Stereo, reviewed the album saying, quote, Comeback Kids' sixth album, Outsider, is basically a best-of release for the Canadian hardcore veterans, because simply put, the band's latest effort features everything that has and continues to make them a great band, proving that the only real outsiders here are their peers and competitors who want to catch up to their level. Outsider captures the huge choruses and melodic hooks of 2005's underground breaking record, Wake the Dead. The more metal-inclined tone and beefy riffs that characterize 2014's Damn Fine, Die Knowing, the violent moods, darker emotions, and vicious anger heard on the underrated broadcasting, and my personal favorite, not me, this guy, his personal favorite release, Symptoms and Cures, the all-around strong songwriting that was present right from their 2003 debut, Turn It Around. Die Tonight is and forever will be a great track, all driven along by Andrew Newfield's primal, commanding vocal talents. That's what I say to you, Mr. Alex Sievers. All of that was bullcrap.
Was that just his review on the band in general?
That's what I was wondering. In the end of it, I was like, it sounded like he got carried away. He just decided to just talk about the band in general because he got very far away from Outsider. And weird. I don't see any of these stuff because it's like he's trying to compare that. Like there's, well, like you said, the best of is basically a best of release for the Canadian hardcore veterans. And he's talking about, he brings up Wake the Dead and Turn It Around and how, it's kind of like those, but a little more, metal inclined, and it's got beefy riffs now. And it's kind of like, okay. I mean, I'm not seeing that, but all right. I don't know where you're getting that from, bro.
On Outsider?
Yeah.
Are you sure this isn't his review of the Rain City Sessions?
The Rain City Sessions? No.
Okay, because that one has like re-recorded versions of some of the old songs with Andrew doing vocals and stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which I am not a big fan of. Wake the Dead just sounds like somebody's trying to cover it.
Right.
But yeah, okay. This article doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, it's about Outsiders because he starts it off by saying Comeback Kids, 6th album Outsiders Outsider is basically a best of release for the Canadian hardcore veterans. So yeah, he's talking about Outsider.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
this
saying.
is
I was
like
like,
starting
what?
to get away from hardcore a little bit. It's
What are
starting to
we
like,
doing here?
yeah, we're starting to get away from hardcore a little bit.
Maybe in the
There's
direction of Stray from the Path.
yes. There's two tracks on this album that sound like a different band, and I wonder if you know who that band is right off the top of your head. One of those songs
Okay.
is Hell of a Scene.
No. What's the other one?
I can't remember the other one. That was the only one I remember the name of, but I remember there were two on this album.
Okay. I'm trying to pull it up here real quick. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. Let's see. Hold on. Stand by. Go. Besides that, go ahead and tell me your review on the rest of the album.
Uh it's confusing. It's a little confusing because I don't know. There's a lot of elements of the previous album, Die Knowing. A lot of elements of that in there. Then there's also these weird elements like there is in Hell of a Scene that sounds like the band Sum 41. Like the main chorus line there.
That was not okay. I guess I was looking more towards like the music than the lyrics, if that's what you're because are you pointing more towards the lyrics in general in
The
that
vocal
song that
style,
the vocal style?
like the
Okay.
way he's like singing.
I guess I was listening more at the drums at the beginning there because I was kind of like, it sounds like something, but I can't remember what. Just that kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's Sum 41.
It's a Sum 41. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
off of like Fat Lip.
Okay. Interesting. No, I didn't picture that one, but okay.
Um, I'm kind of in the same place as I was on the last one. There's nothing wrong with it, you know?
It's just
And
different though, and it's taking that turn, kind of like we said with starting from Die Knowing.
yeah, every song kind of feels like you've been broken down into like the vocal patterns like da 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 da, and then little chorusy sing song da 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 da, and like I don't know, they all feel very formulated like that same way.
Dang, he went deep. I was
You know
not
what I
expecting
mean?
that one. Woo, yeah, I know what you mean. I just wasn't expecting that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It all feels very formulated at this point. And I'm not saying it's bad. You know, I had no problem shitting all over that last Alexis on Fire album,
Oh, dear God.
but it's not, yeah, it's not terrible. It's just not why I got into Comeback Kid, you know?
Yeah, I mean, okay, how do I ask this? So I feel like when it comes to like the hardcore genre, I don't know. I mean, it feels like you can very easily get into like this routine of like everything sounds the same, you know?
For sure.
I mean, I don't know. That's tough, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't really know where I was going with that point either, but who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? What are you looking at me for? I don't know what's going on.
And
Songs that
also, like,
good.
I don't know. This happens. This happens. Even like Stick to Your Guns gets into some weird territory sometimes where I'm like, I don't know. We're getting like a little too melodic hardcore. Like it just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. Like that's fine. A lot of people like it, but it just takes me personally out of it a little bit.
Have you, because you're the kind of like Every Time I Die, you're kind of the spokesperson on here for Stick to Your Guns. If you listen to their newest album,
No.
I don't remember what it's called. Okay.
I think that was the one that they were like holding during the pandemic. Like it had been recorded and everything, but they were holding on to it
I've
until they
listened
were able
to
to tour it.
Yeah, I've listened to one song off of there, and it may have been like the lead single or whatever. And I wasn't impressed, dude.
I didn't
I was
really
not
care for the
impressed.
album before that.
What was the album before that?
It's the one that with I think Better Ash Than Dust was the
Oh, was it an EP? Because I thought True View was the last.
it was an EP.
Oh, okay. I was supposed to say, don't be talking bad about True View.
Spectre
That's
is
like my
the one that
favorite
they
one,
put
man.
out last year.
Yeah.
Um,
Better Ash Than Dust is before True View.
okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, Better Ash Than Dust kind of turned me off. I didn't care for that one.
Okay.
And then True View, yeah, you know I like True View.
Okay. I was about to say, don't be talking bad about True View.
No, I like True View.
Even though I have read several reviews that just crap all over True View, and I don't get that.
I think it's
But
a pretty strong album for them.
that's what I thought too, man. But apparently some people disagree with that.
But yeah, I guess I need to listen to the newest
Spectre.
one.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's
Scary.
Yeah, I don't remember how long ago it was, but I think it was their lead single off of that they put out. And I listened to it and I was just kind of like, okay. Like, I don't know. And it's, you go off of the last album that they put out always when something like that comes out and your expectations are, kind of based off of that one, especially if you like it. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too impressed. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Again, I don't remember what the song name was. But anyway, back to this album here, Outsider. Songs on this album include Outsider, Surrender Control, Absolute, Hell of a Scene, Somewhere, Somehow, Consumed the Vision, I'll Be That, Outrage, Fresh Face, Stay Cause, Blind Spot, Livid Prime, Recover, Throw That Stone, and the finale, Moment in Time. Now, Josh, I'd ask for your opinion but you've already, told me. So what's the point? Your opinion does not matter.
It's very rock anthem-y.
Outsider, you think so?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. Like it's good. I didn't skip a single track, but it's just not.
Just didn't do it for you.
I'm not going to be listening to this one in my spare time.
It's not in the rotation.
No.
Okay. Let's talk about this little EP that they put out in 2018. Beds Are Burning / Little Soldier EP from Nuclear Blast Records and New Damage Records. The final album for Ron Friesen on bass. And as you can tell, the songs include Beds Are Burning, which is a cover song from the band Midnight Oil, and then the original
Midnight
Little Soldier. What do you think about this, Josh?
I didn't like Beds Are Burning. Little Soldier was okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the point?
I don't like singles. Don't put out singles. Don't waste your time on that. Why don't you write a fucking album? Write an album.
Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. Is like, what's the point of this EP?
I'm okay with a teaser single. If that single is coming on an album, I'm good with that. But I get so pissed when a band just puts out like a single a year. I'm like,
and it's going nowhere.
Yeah, you can't be like
Alexis on Fire
sustainable to you guys. Like, why are you even bothering at that point?
Right. Yeah, Alexis on Fire did that with 3 songs before they put out. It was before the pandemic when they made their little comeback. And none of those 3 songs made it onto that final album. It's kind of like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Point of all that. Why are you writing songs anymore? Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot I had this pulled up. I was going to say earlier that I think part of the reason that they departed from Victory was all these bands on Nuclear are like way heavier, like way heavier. So like there's like fucking Despised Icon was with them. Flesh God Apocalypse, Behemoth, Cradle of Filth, Carnifex. Like yeah, there's Fit for an Autopsy, yeah. So it just like they've gotten to this point where they're like, you know, almost
We're
too
heavy, so we need to be
for,
on a heavy,
yeah.
for victory. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of going off of what you're talking about, but the single deal, it's like I just don't get the point of this EP when it's just a single that's just there and then a cover song. It's kind of like,
Right.
okay, don't really understand why we're doing a single here, but all right. I mean, sometimes I feel like EPs come out because okay, we've got a big roster change and we're kind of demoing a new sound or or whatever. You can't really do that with this because there's new members every single album.
Yeah.
Um Sometimes a band does an EP of like songs that are basically demos, but then they're going to be re-recorded and put on the next album. Didn't do that with Little Soldier, like you said. And Beds Are Burning again, or it's just a cover, so it's a throwaway. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really get it. Sometimes too, a band will put out an EP like as their first album on a new record, a record label. They already put out a brand new record on Nuclear Blast called Outsider. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just kept like racking my brain. I was like, I don't really understand the point of this EP, but I don't know. Rant's over. Josh has had his rant. I've had my rant. Let's move on. Like I said, it was the final album for Ron Friesen on bass. He would be replaced by Chase Brenneman. And here we are. Good old 2022. Heavy Steps, their brand new album. Latest and greatest from Nuclear Blast Records. Produced by the OG, they brought back John Paul Peters, who did their very first full-length album, Turn It Around. He has also done work with Cancer Bats and the band Propagandhi. Be the first album with Chase Brenneman on bass. Ellis Heasley of distortedsoundmag.com described the album stating, quote, "If there's one thing you can count on when it comes to Comeback Kid, it's their knack for straight up ragers. For 2 decades now, the Canadian five-piece have repeatedly delivered on a dependably high-octane brand of hardcore punk. Their latest album, Heavy Steps, is no exception. Arriving more than 4 years after 2017's critically acclaimed Outsider, it's their 7th full-length and their 2nd with Nuclear Blast Records. True to form, it's an album of intense forward momentum and another worthy addition to a rock-solid back catalog. Songs on this album include Heavy Steps, No Easy Way Out, Face the Fire, Crossed, Everything Relates, Dead on the Fence, Shadow of Doubt, True to Form, In Between, Stand Still, Menacing Wait. Clocking in at about 32 minutes long. I'm going to tell you straight up, Josh, I put this album on the other day for the first time, listening to it, and it was over before I even knew it. It didn't even feel like 32 minutes. It felt like 20 minutes to me. It was weird.
It's very quick.
Just very quick. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Loved the album artwork, if you couldn't tell.
Right.
It's pretty cool album artwork. I like it. It kind of
Yeah.
makes you think of the Chariot, One Wing kind of, like collage type stuff,
Okay.
I like stuff like that. But
It gives
anyway,
me a very like California hardcore vibe.
California,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, I don't. Again, to me, this is another one that, I turn it on, I let it go, and then, like I said, it's over before I know it. But I don't really think there's a bad song on here. Nothing that just stood out to me. It was like, ugh, you know. But yeah, unlike the last one, like Outsider, this is definitely one that I can say I've gone back to. Okay, yeah, I can just turn it on and just let it play straight through and not worry about it. What about you, Josh? What do you think about their brand new album?
I feel better about this one than I did about the last two.
Coming off, yeah.
I think you can definitely tell that they're using the same guy from Turn It Around.
Yep.
Musically,
Good
it
choice. Good
feels
choice.
like they've kind of gone back to that original sound a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like I don't know, it checks a lot of the boxes. If God, I'm so horrible with names. If we still had Wade,
Scott Wade.
Scott Wade, yeah. If we still had him on vocals on this album, I think it would be right back to, like I would proclaim from the rooftops that this band is back. But
They are back.
I think that's the one thing for me is that his vocals have just kind of stayed exactly the same through these last four albums, and they're not exactly what I want from Comeback Kid. So
if they could just get rid of Stu Harris, because we all know he's probably going to leave sooner or later anyway. Move Andrew back to guitar, and then bring Scott Wade back in. You proclaim it from the rooftops.
now we're cooking with gas.
Now we're cooking with some gas, man. Okay. Who knows, man? I mean, hey, could be in the cards. You never know. It's weird to me.
Anything could happen.
I should have mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Scott Wade. The fact of like how many guest vocal spots I've seen him on in different bands that I've liked, or even just bands in general. After leaving Comeback Kid, it's not like he just like disappeared. I mean, he's still active in the music scene a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess on his own terms, but so I mean, never say never on that. Plus the whole like constant rotation of like guitar and bass and drums in this band. I mean, who knows, man? You never know.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Alrighty.
I'll throw out a favorite one on here.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I like Everything Relates because it's kind of like musically a departure from the rest of the album.
Okay.
Kind of feels like that old, just
Old
fast
school.
power chordy. Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to our roots. I like that. Okay.
Who's the guest on this one? It just says JJ.
On what?
Everything
Relates?
Yeah.
It
says Crossed has Joe Duplantier on it. And then Everything Relates has It's Comeback Kid and JJ.
I don't know. We're going to find out, though. We're going to find out. Oh. Come on. Let's see. JJ Peters. Joseph John Peters. Unclean vocalist and rapper from Melbourne, Australia. Starting out as the original drummer for I Killed the Prom Queen. There's a throwback.
Ah.
Here you go. You're going to like this one. He started his own Aussie hardcore band titled D's Nuts. And they have
I've heard of D's Nuts.
Many records. I've never heard of them. That's funny. So I guess JJ is his rap alias.
Okay.
That's what it says. D's Nuts.
D's Nuts.
D's Nuts and Dim Nice. That's another band apparently he's in.
Or have you ever heard of Bro Job?
No, I haven't. Joe, what was the other one you said? Joseph Duplantier?
Yeah. Yeah, Joe Duplantier.
Let's see here. Guitarist and vocalist for death metal band Gojira. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Gojira.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of them. I've actually never heard anybody say their actual name though. So that's when
they're pretty good. I almost want to say that they might have opened one time at a show I was at.
Okay. Let's do that.
I think like them and Wretched opened for the Faceless one time when I saw them.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, So it's as a thumbs up for you on the brand new album. I think that's the first time.
Yeah, I am feeling this one. I am
I
feeling
think that's the first time that both of us have felt pretty good about a brand new album.
Yeah, except for Radical.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Radical was good. Trying to think. We weren't too big on the He Is Legend one.
Yeah, Endless
Um,
Hallway is kind of meh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who the other we weren't big on Cancer Bats one, that's for sure.
But the thing about He Is Legend is like they could definitely bounce back because Heavy
I was gonna
Fruit
say
was
she,
meh.
you never
And
know,
then
man.
they bounced back with Few after
With
that.
you,
So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
that's a hell
Okay.
of an album.
What's your any final comments, Josh, as we close out this chapter? Another chapter in the book of the history of the course.
I would just say if you're a very hardcore purist, you probably want to listen to Turn It Around as your entry point album, or Wake the Dead. If you're into kind of this newer sound, probably this newest one, Heavy Steps, or would have been Symptoms. Yeah, probably Symptoms and
Yeah.
Cures. Symptoms is still really good. I really like that
Symptoms
album.
good, yeah.
So
It's a good one.
it's really just Die Knowing and Outsider that kind of don't really hit. So
I was gonna ask you, what's going on with that album artwork on Symptoms and Cures? Is that dude dreaming or is he like trying to kill himself?
I don't know. I don't know. He's
The
got
world may never know.
symptoms, and that's the cure.
And that's the cure.
I don't know.
That's deep. That's
I
deep.
don't
I don't
know.
think we can beat that one. So we better get out of here, man. So to finish it up, our current lineup is Andrew Neufeld on vocals, Jeremy Hebert on guitar, Stu Harris on guitar, Chase Brenneman on bass, Loren Laguerre on drums. But who knows how long any of these guys are going to stick around, because as we've learned in these 2 episodes about Comeback Kid, there's a lot of rotation. So stay tuned. Scott Wade maybe making a comeback. Who knows? In Josh's dreams.
I
All right,
wish.
here we go. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We also have the History of the Course After Hours podcast, which is where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this podcast right here. His name is Eric. And then you come back onto this show and you get to hear this guy's opinions and comments and rants about the other show. And then it just kind of goes in a circle.
As is my
for a while.
right as Lord of the Land.
Lord of the Land. Okay. We also have the Red Right Ham podcast, which
I'm
has
asserting
covered...
prima nocta on that podcast.
Sure. Yeah, sure you are. We also have the Red Right Ham podcast, which covers all 6 seasons of the Peaky Blinders. We also have some mini episodes in between talking about some history stuff related to the show. We also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which so far has covered season 1 of HBO's House of the Dragon, soon to be season 2. We actually just dropped a brand new episode on our Aegon the Conqueror series. Make sure to go check that one out. It's called The Wars of Aegon the First. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. That guy. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And here you go, Josh. This one's just for you. If you want to listen to us and you want to see a creepy smiling face looking back at you, oh my gosh, head on over to YouTube page. Just search Is Survived by Productions. God. And that'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. Okay, here we go, Josh. I'm going to give you a hint on who the next band is that we're going to cover. And you listeners, you follow along too. Here's the 3 hints for you, all right? Here we go. Don't if you think of it, don't say it. Don't say the name, okay? First clue is Burlington, Ontario. That's right. We're staying in Canada. Can you believe it? We live in Canada now. I know, right? So first clue is Burlington, Ontario. Second clue Victory Records alumni. Who could it be? Burlington, Ontario, Victory Records alumni. Your final clue is the book title, Where the Sidewalk Ends. What could it be? So we have Burlington, Ontario, Victory Records alumni, in the book title, Where the Sidewalk Ends. Leave us your answer in the comments or tweet us the answer at IsSurvivedByPro using the hashtag History of the Course Podcast. We'll see you next time.